What is happening, Cigars Daily? Today is a big day at the shop because I'm reviewing this NewAir Kegerator behind me. And you might say, that's weird. You don't review Kegerators, Tim. But I'll tell you, I also have a life principle. Much in the same way that if someone asks me if I'm a god, I will always say yes. If someone asks me to review a Kegerator and sends one, I will always say yes, and I hope that you would too, because this is an important life skill to have. These principles, they should guide and direct us. Plus, it's been like a super stressful day at the shop, so it's actually beer 30 right now as things start to wind down for the day. So let me take you inside this thing because I have some experience with Kegerators in the past. I built one with a friend. I've had a few of them in my bachelor pads over the year. We even have one here in the shop for lazy days, and so I want to take you guys inside what this one from NewAir has to offer because they've actually made a pretty interesting unit. So here's the pros, here's the cons, and everything you need to know about the NewAir Kegerator. So the first thing I love about this thing is that it's exceedingly more simple than a cigar humidor. Like, the setup process is way quicker, way easier. When I opened this, I think it took me a total of about 90 minutes to get the whole thing set up and ready to dispense beautiful, wonderful beer. Even though it's more complicated than a humidor. And that's one of the weird things. Like, a humidor is a wooden box, typically made of wood. You put some water in it, you put some cigars in it, you try to get the humidity right. This thing right here, humidity doesn't matter. Even though it uses gas and is more complex, it did seem to give me a simpler experience than most of the humidors that I've done. That's the most comparable thing to this I sort of have to compare it to. And I love the way that this is set up inside. Take a look in the unit. First thing to notice when you open the door on this is this gimassive light in here, which stands out to me because my other Kegerator does not have this, and at times it is hard to see what's going on in there if you're not in a well-lit area. So this thing makes it easy. You're throwing a giant rave at your house, you don't have a spare glow stick to see inside, doesn't matter, you can still fix your Kegerator to make sure that it dispenses beer. Also, this thing holds a 1/6, 1/4, or half barrel keg. Okay, so I got two of these pony kegs in here. And I love this because one of my biggest issues with the Kegerator that I currently have before this one is that it runs out of beer and I have to go get another keg and bring it back. Having a spare is going to give me a massive advantage here. So depending on how many beers you think you're going to be going through, having a backup is a really, really big deal because, as we all know, once you're out of beer, the party's kind of over. This machine gives you the option of putting your CO2 tank on the inside or on the outside. Now, I set mine up on the back here because that's just how I normally do it. But I gotta say, depending on what your space constraints are, I think this can be a massive advantage. I think a lot of people, if you're in an apartment or there's just gonna be a massive party and too many people and you really gotta put the thing in a corner, being able to put CO2 on the inside and not having it protruding out of the back of the unit would be a really good deal. Other than that, this is a standard setup. You can see that we keep ours around 8 pounds for pressure. That's just how we like our beer to come out. We don't like to be super foamy, so we let it sort of drizzle as we pour this stuff. But really, really like the option on this. That's not something I've seen with a tremendous amount of these other units, especially when I was shopping to buy my own. And underneath, I loved that this thing came with casters out of the box. I had an extra set of wheels to put on here. Now, when I opened it up, it had like 2 wheels on the back and pegs on the front that were adjustable. So if you want to open it up and just set it up, you can do that. But the extra wheels are great, and the 2 front wheels on this are locking. So again, if you're having a party at your house and some girl is twerking too close to the Kegerator or whatever the situation is for you, this is really great to have something you can set up. You can either leave the pegs and rollers on it or put these casters on it and lock the wheels so the thing's not going anywhere. Again, just a really, really valuable thing. I find that here at the shop, we move our Kegerator around a lot. Like, sometimes it goes out to the lounge, sometimes it's back in the staff area, sometimes it's over here by the office. So the ability to roll this thing around was actually a way bigger asset for this machine than I really thought it was going to be. Now it's time to take a look at the business end of this thing. And the first thing that really impressed me with this unit is the temperature. This one goes down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is great. Here at the shop, we like our beer as cold as we can possibly get it. We've actually put it at 32, and my glass today is going to come out of the freezer. It's why I don't even have it yet. But also on the top here, this thing's got really substantial guardrails that actually screw in. On my other Kegerator unit, they just sort of have pegs that stick in there. So these are much more substantial, serious guardrails. And once again, guardrails on a Kegerator is like, you're gonna like pre-pour some beers and have them so people can just grab them or whatever. You don't want that girl twerking by the damn kegerator to knock them all off, and then you got beer all over the place and nobody's having fun anymore. Also, the tap on this thing. The second NewAir reached out to me about this, I checked to see if it had the capability of a double tap. And if you can fit 2 pony kegs in here, why wouldn't you have 2 different types of beer available? Does say on their website that the double tap kit is sold separately, although I couldn't find the double tap kit on their website, so double check that. If like double tap is the thing that you're after, make sure that you're able to find that thing. For me, having the backup keg actually now has more value than the added tap, but this thing works pretty flawlessly, and so now it's time to put it to the proper test. There we go. Like that. And here you go, right there behind me. This is the most difficult part of having a kegerator, is dialing in the pressure on the gas so that it doesn't come out too foamy or you don't get too much head. This beer has got a lot more head than I really want on it, so I even probably have to dial the gas back from where it is. But again, that's not the issue with this unit. That's going to be the issue you'll deal with any kegerator as you set it up and get it right. You got to dial it into exactly where you want it. And now there's only one thing left to do, and that's talk price on this bad boy, while I smoke this Padron 1964, the cigar of the year, and drink this beer, which, by the way, this is Wow Wheat Ale from Four Peaks Brewery. Something we really like. It's got orange peel in it. Whatever. You like what you like in beer. This is not the cheapest unit out there, okay? So if you're looking for budget, if you're looking for bargain, this is not your go-to unit. This one right here lands at $1,200 on NewAir's website. Now, as far as the comparison between other units, when I shopped, I think we spent around $800 or $900 on the unit that we got. The benefits that this one had over it is it holds an extra keg. You can mount your CO2 on the inside or the outside. It's got that dual keg option. The temperature goes a lot lower. Like, I certainly feel like we got a lot more than an extra $400. Hey, can you guys keep it down? I'm trying to drink and smoke, and your working is interrupting me.
Sorry,
See that? The kind of disrespect that goes on in a workplace is just unbelievable. I'm just messing with you guys. They're going to put away the cigars from today's orders. There were a lot of them, so there's a lot to go on. So while I take my beer and my cigar and watch them work and do all the managing, the important managing work that goes on here, I do want to tell you guys, I think that this unit was a home run with NewAir. Something about the stuff that NewAir is doing with both their humidors, generally, all the products I've had from NewAir are very well thought out, very well planned, well executed machines that do exactly what they say they're going to do or supposed to do in the best possible way. That's been my experience with NewAir. The downside of that is they're almost never the cheapest. In fact, they're typically the most expensive. So if you want to call this the BMW or the Mercedes-Benz of your appliance world, then maybe that's how you can think of them. Anyway, what has your experience with NewAir been like? Have you used a kegerator like this? Please drop a comment down below and let everybody know what you think of NewAir and of their products. Would love to hear more from you guys. And if you are doing some research and studying to see if you want a NewAir, check the comments for more details from other users. And check this video out on cigarsdailyplus.com. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Tim signing off for Cigars Daily. Ooh. And I will see you in the comments.